Welcome to the California Academic Decathlon Interview Orientation. This will be a virtual event using Zoom. You'll be assigned to a breakout room when you arrive in the Zoom main session. Along with this training link, you should have received an email that included a link to your interview judging guidelines, Zoom meeting information, and the online evaluation form link. If you did not receive the materials, please contact the competition coordinator by email or phone. The contact information will be on the last slide of this presentation. The interview guidelines is one document containing the following information: preparation for the interviews and judging process, conducting a successful interview, sample open-ended interview questions, descriptors of the interview evaluation form, also known as the rating scale. On event day, the Zoom host will place you in an assigned judge room. You will be in a Zoom breakout room with 1 to 2 other judges who will be individually evaluating one decathlete at a time using the online evaluation form. Prior to your first decathlete, decide which judge will keep time and which questions will be asked in what order. On the day of competition, the Zoom room will be open after 7:45 a.m. if you'd like to join early to discuss any questions you may have about your role. Be sure to check into the Zoom room by 8 a.m. so we can prepare you for your first interview at 9:10 a.m. Each judge scores individually, and all scores are averaged for a final score. Time accurately for a fair competition and release decathletes on time. Judges, please have a separate browser window open or an additional electronic device to submit your online evaluation form. You will submit scores using the online evaluation form after each student leaves the room. Each decathlete is allotted 7 minutes for their interview. After 6 minutes have passed, the judge keeping track of time will announce that 1 minute remains and ask for final comments. You will have 2 minutes to enter your scores. A Zoom host will be monitoring your room. When the host sees the decathlete has left the room, the host will send another decathlete to your room within 1 to 2 minutes. Please be patient because it could take longer depending upon the number of decathletes in the main room. You will have the option to turn your video off and mute your microphone while you finish scoring, or you may keep them on and let the decathlete know you'll be with them momentarily. Now, let's move on to the interview process. Let's review the process. Log in to Zoom by 8 a.m. on testing day. The Zoom room will be open to judges starting at 7:45 a.m. A Zoom host will place you in your assigned interview room. You will be in a breakout room with other judges and will be individually evaluating one decathlete at a time using the rating scale. A Zoom host will send a decathlete to your room beginning at 9:10 a.m. Submit scores using the online evaluation form after each decathlete leaves the room. Wait for the next decathlete to enter the room. If you have questions or concerns during your session, click on the Ask for Help button on the black bar. Here's a scenario for the interview judges. Decide prior to first interview the order judges will be asking questions and who will keep time. The decathletes will be waiting in the main Zoom room. We will send the first decathlete into your room at 9:10 a.m. Judges, introduce yourselves and have the decathlete start their self-introduction. Next, a judge will proceed to the first question. The interview will last approximately 7 minutes. Introductions and instructions should take about 30 seconds. When 6 minutes have passed, the judge keeping time will announce that a minute remains. At the end of 7 minutes, the judge keeping time will notify the decathlete that time has expired. Thank the decathlete and let them know they may leave the interview room. Score decathlete and wait for the next decathlete to enter the room. Let's go over the guidelines. The interview rating scale is located on page 4 in the interview guidelines. The rating scale provides detailed information for the key descriptors on the online interview evaluation form. For those who have judged interviews before, this is the same rating scale we have used in the past. In fairness to all participants, conduct an objective interview that allows each decathlete to respond to open-ended questions in a safe environment. Depending on the length of the student's responses, you may have to ask more questions for certain students who have short responses. Prior to the first student, decide as a group which questions will be asked by which judge from the official list of open-ended interview competition questions that will be provided to you. We recommend selecting 4 to 5 questions per judge. It's important that you select questions from the official list and not your own. Greet the decathlete by introducing yourself. If a judge knows a student, they have the option to excuse themselves from scoring the student if they feel they cannot impartially judge them. Begin the interview by allowing the student to introduce themselves. Feel free to ask the decathlete to elaborate on an item they included in their introduction. A follow-up question is not required, but a judge may ask for an elaboration if they find a point in the introduction interesting. Time begins when the decathlete begins their self-introduction. Each decathlete receives 7 minutes. When 6 minutes have passed, the room monitor, keeping track of the time, will announce that 1 minute remains and ask for final comments. Judges will have 2 minutes to enter their scores on the online evaluation form. Before interviewing the next decathlete, if necessary, judges should address any concerns regarding a question's content and consider using an alternate question for future decathletes. Judges, remind each other to complete and submit the evaluation form and start a new evaluation form for the next decathlete. Please take a moment to read Conducting a Successful Interview on page 3. The success of the interview depends on how well and how quickly you can create a pleasant understanding with the decathlete, treating them at all times with respect. On page 4, the descriptors listed in the interview evaluation form, also known as the interview rating scale, provides detailed information for the key descriptors, including voice, language usage, interpersonal skills, nonverbal language, manner, listening skills, answering skills, responses, overall effectiveness, and appearance. For those who have judged interviews before, this is the same rating scale we have used in the past. Now, on to scoring. Remember to keep the online evaluation form open on a separate browser tab on your device or another device. You will need to enter your email address, your name, the room number you are in, and the 4-digit student ID number. Be sure to enter the correct student ID number on the online evaluation form. This is critical for scoring. The decathlete's ID number will be located in the bottom of the decathlete's video screen along with their first name. The form must be submitted after each decathlete completes their interview. Interviews are scheduled every 10 minutes along with the scheduled breaks. When the host sees the decathlete has left the room, the host will send another decathlete to your room within 1 to 2 minutes. Please be patient because it could take longer depending upon the number of decathletes in the main room. Use the bar under each section to scroll left or right. Reserve the higher scores, 9 or 10, for exceptional interviewers. Click Next to go to the next page. After each decathlete, be sure to click the Submit button. Then you can click the Submit Another Response link to bring up a new evaluation form for the next decathlete. Okay, let's review. Judges must use the online interview evaluation form link that was emailed to them. Enter your email and name on the form where indicated. Judges will individually introduce themselves to the decathlete. If a judge knows a decathlete, they have the option to be excused from scoring them if they feel they cannot impartially judge them. Enter the decathlete's ID into the evaluation form once confirmed with the decathlete. Decathlete ID number will be located in the bottom of the decathlete's video screen. Begin the interview process. Allow 7 minutes per decathlete. When 6 minutes have passed, the judge keeping track of the time will announce that 1 minute remains and ask for final comments. Please note, there is no penalty if the decathlete reveals their city or school name. Judges will have 2 minutes to enter their scores on the online form independently. Before interviewing the next decathlete, if necessary, judges should address any concerns regarding any questions they are using and may consider replacing that question for another question from the official list of interview questions that will be provided to you. Judges must submit an evaluation form and start a new evaluation form for the next decathlete. Reserve the higher scores for exceptional speakers. Judges need to be ready for another decathlete to enter the room within a couple of minutes. There could be a delay pending the number of students in the main room. It's essential to stay on schedule. Do not debate or dispute with the decathlete's idea or get into a discussion with the decathlete by stating your ideas. Please refrain from giving any verbal feedback. A simple thank you is sufficient. During judging, please keep your camera on and mute your microphone when not speaking. If you have any questions regarding judging prior to the event, or if you are unable to keep your commitment, please let us know as soon as possible. We can be reached at info@academicdecathlon.org, or you can call area code 707-330-3276. Thank you for joining the team and volunteering for the Academic Decathlon interview portion of competition.